Welcome back to the show, everyone. Craig and Jonah. Boy, we've got an action-packed episode for you. But Jonah has a story to start with, so go ahead.
Yeah, so I was at the gym working out the other day, and
I wish you guys could see this muscular guy.
I'm working on it.
It's really hard. It's kind of distracting.
It's a work in progress.
Yeah.
But so we're in the gym, and you got the TVs on with the news and whatever else there, and all of a sudden this news story comes on about Taylor Swift, and the guy working out next to me goes, I would never have sex with Taylor Swift. She looks too much like a man. My first thought was, and I said this, I was like, well, what kind of guys do you hang out with? Second, I was like, you're probably in luck because I bet you she feels the same way about you. But I was like, just for the sake of conversation, what if she did come to you and say, I'm sick of fooling around with these big, muscular, multi-millionaire tight ends. I want just the average man. And he's like, what would you do then? And he was like, well, first of all, one of the reasons that I said I wouldn't at first because I was married. So that just shows that Lutherans do have some standards. The sacrament of marriage, at least not a sacrament to them, I guess, but the sacrament of marriage was going to hold him up from Taylor Swift. But he's like, if she really needed it, I would do it. I can appreciate that.
I think that's kind of what Jesus said in the Beatitudes somewhere, right? If Taylor Swift is in need.
You're a friend indeed.
Yeah.
Watch out, Travis Kelce. I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's my Taylor Swift story.
That's a pretty good story.
I laughed about it for a while.
That is funny. Well, at least we had something funny to start about because it's going to be all downhill from here.
Well, Craig looks exhausted.
I was up for about 2 hours last night.
So what day is this at right now?
Well, it depends
how you count.
Well, days that I've been
I see
furloughed. So I mean,
how many days is the last intimate act with your wife? Well, you even got a calendar there.
Gotta keep track of this stuff. It's probably not as bad as you would think. Like 11, 12 days.
Oh, that's a long time though.
You're telling me.
Yeah, that is a long time. So, but anyways, it doesn't really matter what day it is. Once you get past 5 days, it gets pretty tough.
Well, it's funny because stupid me. For me personally, day 6 through 10, because it seems like it's getting progressively worse. Like there's something about that. And then I got to thinking last night before I went to bed, you kind of get numb after a while. I mean, it still sucks really bad, but I was like, well, then I woke up about 2 a.m. and I couldn't go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And I was literally up for hour and a half, 2 hours.
But you still master your domain?
Well, I couldn't come. I knew I was recording with you. I couldn't come in and tell you, I fell down.
So I am a good accountability.
You are. I was thinking about that. You don't give yourself enough credit. Literally the only thing that stopped me was Jonah.
Because that is really tough. So this was last week. I think we had a kind of a busy week and it had been like 6 days or whatever. So on the 6th day, I woke up middle of the night too. It's tough, man.
You can tell us how that ended.
You're not a good accountability partner.
Well, you got to text me in the middle of
that. It's tough, man.
So we're in this weird. So we're doing this new NFP method, Marquette, and we're already kind of outside the boundaries of what they know what to do with. Kind of. So we're like. So not
what you want to hear.
So we're like 23 days. We were like 20 some days in, no evidence of ovulation or peak or anything like that. And the only reason it's been 11 days and not like 16 days or 17 days, my wife broke the rules one night. Who knows? They were pregnant.
That's what I was going to say. Has there been a pregnancy test taken yet?
Well, there was no measurable change during that time. At least, I mean, it wasn't like the next day all of a sudden it spiked up. So I'm pretty confident that's not what it is.
Unless it happened last month, you know.
No, I mean,
Well, I know
there was a cycle.
like, you know, once you get in your 40s, I think, at least when women get in their 40s, not men, but when women get in their 40s, things happen.
Yeah, I don't recommend getting into your 40s. I just say skip this phase of your life.
Because I think there's a lot of ovulation that occurs in your 40s as a woman. I'm no medical expert nor gynecologist. This is basically what I read online, but
everything you see online is true. So we're learning this method, and what I had heard a few days ago was if you get to day 23 and nothing has happened, you like reset it. It knows something's still goofy, and it kind of starts over again, tracking kind of like your. I think maybe it goes back to like you're still postpartum, you're waiting for your first cycle, and it has a 10-day sequence where it constantly resets.
is she breastfeeding at all?
Yeah.
Okay. So that could have an effect too. All right.
So I'm thinking, okay, just get yourself to day 23, Craig. Let's get yourself to day 23. And so yesterday was day 23. There was a glimmer of hope. There was a glimmer of hope. That was keeping me going. She's like, well, I got to check with our instructor first. And
the gatekeeper.
Yeah. And so I got home and I wanted to know, but she didn't feel it was important to share that information with me, I guess. So I was sitting around the dinner table and I says, well, did you hear from the instructor? And she's like, yeah. And I could tell right away. Wasn't good news for me.
Delay the launch sequence.
So she pulls out her phone and it's got this long text message. Like,
oh.
So apparently it's, I think, day 24, day 25. I'm not sure if it resets on day 25 or resets on day 26. So I've got today and maybe tomorrow. Yeah. Apparently.
You got this.
I'm already this far in.
How much suffering can a man endure? The problem is when it starts interfering with work and just sleep and the rest of your life.
I don't really want to go through 3 or 4 nights of this. I won't be functioning. I
would like to know if anybody else has sleep issues after like day 5, because that it happens to me every time I just start waking up. I don't know if it's like your body saying do something about this or what's happening.
My problem is usually I can't fall asleep, and this is where I think a lot of the miscommunication occurs is when I get into that phase. It's really hard. Well, it's easy to be sullen. It's hard to be just real bubbly and affectionate with your wife. I mean, you're just kind of downcast, which isn't her fault, and you shouldn't take it out on her. But I don't know. If I have a nice loving embrace with my wife before I go to bed, all the crap starts going and then I don't fall asleep. Mm-hmm. And so I think they perceive it as these assholes just only nice when they're going to get some, and I just like so
no a proper analogy is like the Wizard of Oz. So the PMAS stage is like at the beginning when it's all in black and white. But then once you have the marital act, you see the world in color.
Oh, wow.
And you can just see everything. Like it's beautiful. The world is beautiful. Your wife is beautiful. The flowers are beautiful. The sky is beautiful. Everything around you is beautiful. But then again, the movie finishes in the black and white again, so and you're just waiting.
Yeah,
for just the color to come back to life. But it's a very true analogy as far as the color is just gone from life.
Did you come up with that
on the fly?
Really?
Just like that, yep.
And you haven't even heard that one
There's before? No place like home. Nope, no. But it's true. Because I have thought about it often. Just about how much more beautiful life is after you have intimacy with your
And
wife for
it
several
flips
days.
back and forth. Yeah,
it
like
does flip back and forth. Black and white, the color. Yep.
Yeah, I'm in the witch's castle right now.
That was in color, but get the flying monkeys.
I don't know where I'm at then.
Yeah, not at all.
I'm in the middle of the tornado. Was that black and white?
That was black and white.
Okay,
Yeah,
that feels okay.
Waiting for the house to drop on the whichever witch.
Yeah, I just like let the house fall on me.
Take me down.
Take
Lord.
me down.
That is kind of how it feels.
Yeah.
Take me down.
But here's the funny part. So I got out. So I fell asleep reasonably decent last night. And then I woke up. I can't remember if I woke up or my little girl, one of our daughters, woke up and she's like, "Dad, I need help going back to sleep." I'm like, "Oh, great. So do I." So I bring her back to her room. I go back to my room. She comes back, "Daddy, I need you to do the rosary," because that's always do. We always do the rosary on the phone. I go back in there, do the rosary. She falls asleep. Well, now I'm up. My mind's going. So it's like 2:30 in the morning.
Did you pray the complete rosary, or did you just do some decades with her until she fell asleep?
I don't think we got through the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I might as well get something done. So I go downstairs. I built a fire. I was hungry, so I made 2 grilled cheese sandwiches in the night.
At what time?
2:30 in the morning. This is as good as it gets, boys.
That's life in the foxhole.
2 grilled cheese sandwiches.
Building a fire.
Literally, the only thing I was like, this is so stupid, but I'm doing this for the podcast and Jonah.
We thank you for your efforts.
There's a way to go back to sleep, but doing that.
Yep, there is a way.
At least not till tomorrow. So
still holding strong. I'm proud of you.
I told my wife the other day, I said, I hope there's a point to all this. If there's not, I'm gonna be real angry. That's gonna be
Oh, I don't know. You look back on the suffering and think, well, it may not have been worth much. It was still, like when you look back on the times that were hard in your life, you can appreciate,
that's
how difficult they were.
That's just what miserable people tell themselves to get through it.
That's true too.
It's a coping mechanism.
Well, I don't know. I think I heard that many wealthy people, when they look back in their life, the time that they treasure the most was the struggle. So maybe that'll be the same for us too. Like as far as they look back and they're just proud that they did it. You're not feeling that right now.
Nope. So, but here's the funny part. So it's about 3:30 in the morning. I'm down, and all of a sudden I hear footsteps upstairs, and that sounds like my wife.
So you think there's a chance?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was expecting her to come down. I was like, "What the hell are you doing?" She came down. You know how you ever watch MASH?
A few episodes.
There is maybe this is a bad analogy, but Hawkeye Pierce, who's the main guy, says this place is so boring. I could literally walk through camp buck naked and no one would even notice.
I do know that
episode,
yeah.
So he does that, and he almost makes it. Someone finally, but so I'm sitting down there at 3:30 in the middle of the night, eating my grilled cheese sandwich, dressed and ready to go, and my wife comes down, goes to the bathroom, goes back up, doesn't say anything, doesn't ask what I'm doing. It's like, yeah, this is all normal.
This is just normal. Just suffering through the middle of the night.
So I was maybe she didn't want to know. Maybe she knew and she didn't want to but anyway,
that's true. You kind of have a PMAS face.
Yeah. She didn't want to. I don't know. I mean, she's been the other day, of course, when we thought we were shooting for day 23, she gives me hugs like, just a couple more days, honey, or something like that.
Seeing that, that's great.
Yeah, I appreciated that sensitivity. But then I think later that night she invited me to give her a nice back rub, which I'm glad to do. And I would have done it last night, but
it's still like
you're testing my will. You're testing my will there.
That's a near death knell. I mean, that's tough.
I saw a meme online they got like the cone of shame they put on dogs you
Yep.
put on your hand.
That's funny.
I was like, that'd be handy to have.
That's actually really funny. That's a funny Halloween costume.
Yeah. You're the Uncharted Catholic Man, aren't you?
Yeah.
So anyway,
They say keep your hands to yourself, but that's not always true. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's not always good advice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you know, I don't know. It's this is they don't tell you about this part of it, and I don't know. Maybe I'm just a drama queen, but I mean, it's really screwing with my life right now.
I don't think you are a drama queen, to be honest. I think most guys just don't make it that far. To be honest.
In the past, I didn't.
Yeah, I know the feeling too.
Because I was like, why am I putting myself through this?
This is ridiculous. Basically, the rest of my life is suffering because of this one thing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's the most controversial teaching in the church, as far as I'm concerned. But
yeah, as far as it just needs clarification, because like you mentioned yesterday about 2352, where does that line start and stop? As far as if you know,
no teaching more directly impacts my life on a regular basis than this.
Yeah, and I suspect that's how it is for most guys.
Well, I think most guys have a problem with it.
Oh well, yeah,
I think we're such a small sliver of people. I got to thinking about that. So, most Catholics are using birth control anyway, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
that doesn't mean having sex all the time though either.
No, I'm assuming, and maybe if there's anyone out there that listens to this, but I'm assuming that those that have sort of rationalized in their mind using birth control, even though it's pretty clear, everyone knows what the church says about that, isn't like, oh man, I can't engage in solo acts. I can't imagine they've drawn the line there.
Well, yeah, there's no way.
If there's someone out there that is using birth control but standing firm on 2352, I'd be curious to hear from you.
I actually suspect that many guys don't beat themselves up over it. They just go through their lives, do that sort of thing, go to communion. I mean, they just know that they're just not perfect. And I mean, is that, I don't know.
From what I can tell, they're all miserable too. So I'm not sure that they're gaining anything. I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know.
How do you judge somebody's miserableness?
Their YouTube comments.
That's true, man. That's true. And probably the most miserable people are the ones commenting. Maybe not always.
Yeah, maybe they're the loudest.
It could be the loudest,
I don't know. I mean, I think tomorrow, I think I'm interviewing a gal she's the the Christian sexpert, I think is what she calls herself. So she's not Catholic. Obviously has very different views on all this stuff than we do. But she's dealing with couples that have these, same kind of intimacy, not the same kind of intimacy issues that we deal with, but at the end of the day, everyone struggles. Mm-hmm. Husbands feel like they're not having their needs met. Wives feel like they're being used and abused, and that's kind of universal. So like opening the doors on things that we Catholics try to stand firm on doesn't create a panacea. Doesn't seem.
No, I think really it's because of communication, and that's where the church is interesting, in that if you're only allowed to have an orgasm with your spouse, there's something good about that too. So it's complicated.
Yeah, I gotta put on my heretic hat here. So this is going to get kind of
the official symbol of the heretic.
Yeah. So for those that are listening to this, there's going to be stage content here. So if you want to hear the heretic comments and some of the other stuff, there'll be instructions on it, but you got to get special access. The general public won't hear this, but so um I mean, I think I natural family planning isn't the problem. I actually like all of it.
Yep, I agree too.
If there was a way for men and women to deal with this stuff in between, ideally together,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be all for that. I would be
because nobody wants to go solo, really.
No.
Like that. I mean, yeah.
But it'd be nice to know that if your spouse is someone that's just not into that other stuff, it'd be nice to know this is available, because it's not perfect, but it sure helps. It helps get you through, helps you sleep, releases some of that pent up crap.
Yeah.
And I still don't see any of the harm. I don't see what the harm would be.
Well,
I don't know how it could be worse than this.
Well, what's the difference between going solo or doing it with your spouse? I mean, obviously, it's better to do it with your spouse.
Well, yeah, you would think.
Like, only because I don't think that, especially if you've never dealt with it, either maybe as a woman who's just they're not biologically the same, or if you've never been married, but to have intimacy, you just can't turn it on and off. Mm-hmm. And it just gets to be a brutal struggle during times of abstinence, to the point where it's nearly impossible. I think maybe it's not impossible, but it feels impossible. I think
if the wife can't be intimate during the short window in the month where her body is all for that, and then, I mean,
because sometimes there's just a lot going on too.
Yeah, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I wish someone could make sense of this for me, or change it. So
I'll transition to this. So
okay,
Craig, even despite his suffering, he decided to send an article to me about this different oral technique for women. And he just said, I think for the sake of the show or something, maybe you want to try this out. And so I went and I told Dolores about it. And she went and told the kids to go play video games.
For the sake of science and humanity here.
Because we do care. Because the problem is that if you're in a relationship where the woman isn't satisfied, the sex isn't going to be good at all, and you're not going to enjoy it, she's not going to enjoy it, and it's not going to happen. So it's good to, I don't know, try new techniques or whatever. And so we went upstairs and I gave it a good try.
Yeah.
Like I could do everything 110%. This wasn't as good as the other way that I had done it. So she said to make sure to tell you that it's not as good. So it's all sizzle and no steak. It's all on the internet, It's one of those stories where the internet isn't always correct. I don't know, but maybe I wasn't doing it right. I don't know.
Well, I can use my imagination, because that's as close as I'll get to that.
Yeah, so it's called the Kivlin method for those that that are interested in checking that out.
Well, my wife's not into that stuff. Not sure if it's a moral thing or just a comfort level thing. Probably a comfort level thing. So it's just me and my will, which right now I have stubbornness in this podcast keeping me going to some extent. But I don't know. It's not going to sustain me forever.
The angst can only keep you going for so long.
So yeah. So say a prayer for the monitor. Hope for some good news here. My luck, it'll be high today. We'll have about a 10-day.
And that's tough, because if she is breastfeeding, then you can go on and off cycles and all kinds of stuff like that. So
I don't know.
And then what are you supposed to do?
I mean, when the picture is in color, it's amazing, but my goodness, when it's in black and white, it sure sucks, and
it's dreary. That's where you just, like Christopher West would say, just crucify your flesh.
I like to crucify Christopher West. The guy,
He's part of the problem.
that guy's.
He's almost been given full authority to to make some declaration.
I'm gonna beat that guy to a pulp someday.
Not literally, speaking figuratively.
No, literally. My name is Inigo Montoya. You ruined my life. Prepare to die. Figuratively speaking.
I think Craig's being dramatic.
Probably a little bit. Maybe. We'll have to see.
No?
So if Jonah suddenly shows up doing the podcast by himself, it means I'm on the run. Maybe I'll call in from some satellite phone, Dominican Republic or something like that.
Oh, well, hopefully it never gets to that point.
Yeah, hopefully for both of us, all three of us. Woo! Well, okay. It feels a little better. I went through all that to make a good episode, so I make no promises going forward.
You just got 2 more days.
Long days. Like the clock just creeps by. Time slows down. You want time to slow down?
The issue is, I think, is that it doesn't slow down for me during the day. It's at night where all of a sudden time dilates.
maybe we do end up with a time machine because it messes with the space-time continuum. This is our punishment for getting the time machine and going back and stopping owning.
Yep. Time dilates when we need it to go by faster.
Yeah. No. So just creeping by. So
see, maybe that's where you should, like if you had some kind of sleeping medicine, maybe that would, I don't know. I haven't tried that.
So
like melatonin or like, I don't know, whatever people take.
I was thinking about that. And I was thinking to myself,
drinking heavily.
Well, I looked at the brandy cabinet.
Chose not to partake in that as well.
I was too grumpy.
You're a strong man.
Yeah, it wasn't any principle. I wanted to be miserable. But I mean, legitimately, like if this continues on for another day or two, I will be drinking brandy before I go to bed. Probably a lot of it. Probably have some in the middle of the night. Is that really what we're supposed to do?
You're supposed to have self-mastery, Craig.
I think we're going to come out with our own whiskey line. It's going to be called self-mastery.
Oh,
we need our own distillery.
Then you could get whiskey dick too if you drank enough of it. So that'd keep you safe.
Oh my. All right.
That's your way out of it.
Well, I probably will be drinking it.
The issue is that you don't want to drink too little, though, where you lose inhibition. So it's a fine line.
Air on the high side, right?
Yep, that's right.
All right, all the disclaimers in the world.
We do not support
vitamin right here.
I don't even drink. Well, very little.
Anyway, well, thank you for people that put up with all of that. So stay tuned. The next episode we probably record another one here. We'll still be miserable Craig, but hopefully the one after that will be color TV Craig.
And if you want to send any other TikTok like sexual position popular videos, Dolores will give it a shot.
You want to try something new?
Oh, she's gonna kill me.
This is gonna be in the exclusive OnlyFans content anyway. So,
boy, this is fun.
All right. Well, thank you, Jonah. Until next time, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good one.